The plan is to shoot a short film and edit it by September 10th because I found this thing that I could submit to, and even if I don't make it, I think it's just good to have that kind of goal, some kind of deadline. I'm going to change into my costume and try to just shoot some shots today, the first shots. Well, actually, I already shot some shots in the gym last week, so the first shots have already been shot. Technically, for a film that will just mostly be me in it, there's just so many shots that I could get, that I have ideas to get. I think that I'm just going to start shooting today, and the more that I gather shots, the more excited I'll get to finish it, and then everything will kind of come together. I just have to start, and I know that later on I feel like I'm going to always be like, oh, I should have started sooner. I'm just going to start today and get some shots in that I know I could get around the house today and tomorrow. It's weird to shoot something and then you're the only person in it, so you can do it whenever, and it feels like you don't really need to plan that much because it doesn't involve other people. But that's also kind of cool because maybe I can have fun just not planning as much and just shooting ideas that come. Yeah, it could be fun. Yeah, so of course while I was shooting I was thinking this is the dumbest idea I've ever had. But whatever. I'm gonna take a look at the footage. Yeah, the first shots to any project are always just don't make you feel too good, right? I remember feeling that way. The first day we shot for Good Idea, I was like, is this gonna be anything? I think it's normal to go and shoot something and then be like, I don't think this is a movie. For most of this short, I'm still gonna be using prime lenses anyway, but then for stuff that's outside where I want to be really quick, I'll probably use autofocus. And I like the idea of not being so crazy about the framing and everything. That's a mode I'm in right now. That's a whole other topic. Taking a look at my circumstances and how this film is going to come together, actually, the power of the film is going to be the variety of the shots, the creativity of each shot itself, what is happening in the shots, and then the voiceover alongside of it. I think the lighting and composition, that's not going to be necessarily strong except for certain things that I have in my mind of what it should look like. And I think that's kind of going with this again, picking the right tool. A cinema camera you can't give to somebody else, but this one it has stabilization and focus. It can do autofocus decently. I mean, coming from no autofocus, I think it's fine. You have to make certain compromises when you're making stuff on your own, or else you'll never do anything. I think I've been trying to accept that that's the compromise I'm making. I'm going to make sure the sound is good, and sound design, I'm always going to be there's so many different elements that I feel like I'm pretty good at, and I've developed over time and over projects. My idea with this film, attempting to make a short with one character that isn't boring, that has a point, that has meaning, and actually does have some kind of narrative to it. So I think I'll be focused on getting shots that service the narrative of it and getting creative with how I express the things in the film. But yeah, every frame is not going to be a painting in this film. And so the less time I spend trying to make it that perfect, I think the better off the film will actually be. So, today I spent too much time trying to frame. We're going to check out the footage that I shot today. And I'm going to try and keep what I just said in mind, because I'm already being let me check the framing. It's done. What I shot, that's what I'm using. I did rent out the camera before I bought it. Seemed great. Every camera's probably fine. It's everything else that's probably not fine. The story. What is this fucking film about? I do know what it's about. You know what? I think it has potential. Because I know what it's about. It has an actual ending. Yeah. I'm excited about the film. I shouldn't shit on it. But I'm just saying in general, it's probably not the camera that's the problem. It's hard for me to tell from YouTube like reviews of a camera if it has a certain digital look or something. If people could just use them to like shoot a narrative scene, like the most basic. But even then, the camera might look kind of bad because the dialogue is bad or the sound is bad. The sound being good affects how the image looks, and the acting being bad affects how the image looks. I keep putting this in and taking it out again. I can't decide if this is true. Is this true? It sounds like that's not true. We all agree, like, bad sound makes an image look worse. Does bad acting make an image look worse? Does bad dialogue make it look bad, like aesthetically look bad? No. I mean, I don't know, kind of. You get what I'm saying though, right? So I'll just leave it in. The point is, all the elements of filmmaking are like hard to separate. They're all together and they're hard to separate from each other. Anyway, we'll import the footage. Yeah, I just decided I'm gonna plan as little as possible. I'm just gonna like show up to the general location where I know something needs to happen and then just do it on the fly, and then just keep getting shots until I feel like I have everything I need. No idea if this eyeline's correct. To pretend it's like I'm talking to this vacuum. Maybe that's the way to just get it done. A little more improving and a little more like coming up with shots once I get to where I need to shoot. Maybe I'll try an eyeline over here. You sure you don't want any money for it? It would make no sense for you to give me money for it when it's trash. When you ask a question like that, it makes me wonder if you're hearing me. Just got some shots at Target. I don't know if they're actually usable, but it's cool how just like when you're writing, when you start shooting, you get new ideas. Just like everything that you have access to, or like everything that you could do becomes like, it feels like you're more aware of all the things you do have. Like I was gonna get my car washed anyway as part of the errand after I got shots. Then I was like, oh, I should get shots of my car like this, because I could probably use my car being like that for the rant I do somewhere in the video about like, you know, once I get my ass, I'll do this and this and this. And I didn't originally have like get my car washed, but my car was destroyed by bird poop. So I was like, oh, I could film this and make that part of it. And then, again, I was going to get my car washed anyway. But then I was like, oh, I should film the car wash, obviously. And I don't know if I'll use any of that either because I just, like, pulled out my camera really fast. And this isn't going to be a very pretty movie. And I don't know if what I shot in Target is usable at all. But it's just, like, the fact that I went out there and then got these ideas. I think it's important to like have some shots you know you're gonna get, and then I might not use any of them, and along the way of trying to get those shots, I'm getting shots I'll actually use. So that's cool. I'm gonna eat this sandwich and then maybe try to get the basketball stuff today too. This is me just getting audio of this. So after spending like 5 minutes talking to camera about how I'm not going to plan anything and I'm just going to be on the fly, I'm going to plan as little as possible. That lasted about 2 days, and then I did 2 days later try to plan everything, write every shot that I could think of down, which led to feeling pretty overwhelmed. We love to make plans and then do the opposite of the plan, only to come back to the plan again. I actually like shot listed things that I need and just like put them in my like task manager app, and I was like, oh my god, there's so much to get. I think I was letting it get in my head. That was holding me back. I think I'm past it now, and I'm just gonna tackle some shots and hopefully get some shots done today that are important. To get something is better than just to get nothing, and I definitely have time to get something, so kind of winging it and just like, oh, I'll do this one and not thinking about the big picture has kind of been better than what I did today, which was list everything I need to do, and that made me feel like, wow, I'm never gonna finish this. This is never ending. And the real reason it needs to be a shallow depth of field is because I want to spend no time cleaning my room. That's why I'm using an ND filter to open up the lens as wide as possible. Let's review. Yeah, just trying to salvage the day. Rocky, say hi. Yeah, I'll just do hip thrusts regular, and then I'll add a dumbbell to it on this one. What's that look like? It's a hip thrust right here. I'll get me moving it and then trying to do it there. I'm trying to get the real life shit. Like earlier I had a shot where I was like, oh, let me wipe off the mirror, and I'm like, this is a good shot to get, just to get all these little bits. These things randomly will be the most interesting parts of the film, or parts that I think are, oh, I'm not going to use this, you know. Maybe not the most interesting, but useful. Trying to express that idea a little bit better and with my head in frame. Certain actions that a character does in a shot are useful because they help you establish, or for rhythm purposes, or just whatever, to get a character doing something is always just going to be better than not doing something. Is that the point? Well, like, okay, so then that shot in the mirror, it's like she looks at herself in the mirror. That's one thing that she does do and that I have in the film her doing. But then to have another action, an action that couldn't really be done unless the mirror was dusty. It adds a realness, a groundingness to the thing, because you couldn't have like done that unless the mirror was dusty. Now, it would have been bad to write, she dusts off the mirror in the script without me knowing what my mirror looked like. And then I go and shoot it and the mirror is not dusty. And so she's not dusting it for any reason. And that's fake and shouldn't be in the film, because now you're just pantomiming and it's like theater and it's fake. If the mirror is dusty and she's dusting the mirror, what's the point of me? What am I talking about? I'm just trying to say certain things add like a realness whenever you have the character do a thing that they just actually would have to do. Well, if she was going to hip thrust off the couch, she'd need to move the table. And to get that, to not set up the scene and then just shoot the shot that is in the script that says she hip thrusts off the couch, but to also get whatever she needed to do to make that happen, because that's real. That's all I'm saying. But does any of that need to be said? Just get everything, I guess. I think you should just start rolling. That's basically all I'm trying to say. I feel like sometimes you roll too late. Alrighty. Let me just shoot this. Let's see. I've hip thrusted everything in the yard. Got dirt all over me because I hip thrusted a Smokey Joe and a plant. And now I'm gonna hip thrust this 80-pound concrete mix. And then I have an idea for a bit to do out here where I get a shot of like everything that I hip thrust, so that I can have like a joke where I show 2 propane tanks and then I like don't hip thrust them. And then there's like a flashing like, do not hip thrust propane tanks. Little bits that keep coming to me, and I reread my script today and I was like, oh, there's a lot I need to get as usual. And I think this kind of stuff is like most essential. Probably the most essential too is like what I'm gonna get for when I'm like injured in the film. Like I need to get the final thrust where I get injured, and I wonder what load I should be under for that. And just like do 3, and then on the 3rd one I like tweak something. And then I know I can't really do acting in the gym. I would feel self-conscious acting in the gym, making like faces like I just injured myself in the gym. So that's definitely gotta be here. So then today I would have like very substantial stuff that makes the film, the ridiculousness of the different hip thrusting things, and I could maybe edit a little bit. There's still so many shots to get, so maybe I shouldn't just jump to the edit, but I think I'll feel a lot better about the film if I have that like tweaking my back scene in the can, and I can start to think about like what I'm gonna get for after. There's a lot to get. I'm gonna try to get this concrete shot. This might actually fuck me up. It'll be funny though, because there's like several holes in the bag, so it's just all gonna be coming out while I'm doing it. It's just gonna be a little absurd. It's going pretty well today. Got a few shots in. I was up late last night getting shots, and now I'm thinking more about what shots I should be on the lookout for like the after I'm injured kind of sequence, which I feel like everything will get a lot slower in pace and like quieter. So, you know, when I see the light doing something, I'm just like, oh, let me grab this shot. I feel myself getting finally less precious, just grabbing them, not setting them up too long, because these shots are gonna be fast and I just need more variety. And an example of that is I just filmed this, like, I'm supposed to get me doing some kind of cardio, and that was supposed to be jump rope, but I realized when I came out here that the lights are up and I can't actually swing the rope, so I'm able to get like a few jumps before I like hit lights, and I feel like earlier I would have like, okay, I gotta try to actually get this shot, but no, I'm just gonna use that. And then I'm coming up with other ideas to make other shots more, what's the word? I had this idea for this whole bit where I go to Buffalo Exchange and I get a really cute pair of hot pants or something, but I think what would be interesting and easier, it's both easier for me to do in that if I did it the other way, where I went to Buffalo Exchange and somehow stole shots in a Buffalo Exchange, that might be a way that I just cut the line and it never gets done, because I don't want to go all the way to Center City, and I don't want to fucking go to Buffalo Exchange with a camera, and the shots will be shit. I'm already feeling like I don't want to do that. But I thought of an idea of like, what if that part is the part of the film where it's really ramped up and I'm saying things really fast and things are like really weird, the broccoli bits in there and all these different bits are in there. So this is just part of this fantasy of like, I'm going to go to Buffalo Exchange and get the most revealing pair of pants that I can get. You know, that's kind of the dialogue, but I'm like not there yet and I never make it. I'm like running out the door with an IKEA bag of clothes and gathering the bag of clothes, but I kind of like abandon the task and I don't actually get it done, because somewhere in this ramp up is when I, you know, hip thrust for the last time, basically. I think that's interesting and also saves me a lot of time and makes it in the sequence actually, because I feel like I could simulate preparing for a trip on my way. I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna do this, but I never actually make it. I think that's interesting. So that's kind of what's been happening, is all the shots I'm looking at, I'm like, do I really need that? Like lunging in the grocery store aisle, I can't think of a way out of that I could really substitute that, and I don't think it's that hard to get. I'll put it on autofocus and then I'll lunge. It'll be worth it to get that. I think I'm feeling like right now, Wednesday at 1:30 p.m., that I can finish this in time for this like thing I'm submitting to. Like, and every time I open my to-do list, I'm like, what am I thinking? But as long as I keep kind of moving lightly, and then once I have the edit and I know what I need, I feel like it's just gonna activate me to go even harder and like just go get what I need to finish it. Tomorrow is like outdoor stuff. I'm gonna wake up early and get the pigeons on the telephone line shot that I want. I think they'll be up there in the morning, but I kind of gotta start trying to get that to make sure I get that. But yesterday was huge because I did a lot of things that I feel like made me excited about the film and were actually important. Not that the other stuff wasn't, but it just takes a while to like have enough stuff that you feel like is good. And that yesterday I feel like I got a lot of important shots. So, all right. That's it. I think I really finally, after a few different attempts, I don't know why, I just kept like fucking this up. The shot where I break my back hip thrusting, which is like a big moment or whatever. Maybe that's why there's like pressure on it, so I'm thinking about it. But I think I got the take that I can use, or the few different takes I can use, and I can see how I'm gonna cut it together and make it actually believable that I hurt myself. My acting, it got better as the takes went on, so I'm glad that I went downstairs because I thought I was done. I looked at what I shot and I was like, I can just have the close-up me breaking my back and I'm in a close-up. And I was like, no, I need to see my actual body. I need that angle so I can like cut a quick succession of cuts that's like the back, the last thrust, my face, the birds, and then when you come back to me, I'm like, and then I got a good angle of me like holding my back, so, and looking like I'm in real pain. I think that would be good, and it took me like the very last take. Good morning. So I'm really glad I did sit down and stop shooting and start trying to edit, because I realized I kind of was making a mistake and going about shooting all wrong. Not all wrong. Okay, here's what happened. I was editing and I was like just kind of editing without the voiceover, which is like the backbone of the whole film. It's the narrative of the film, is the voiceover, for better or for worse. I was just kind of editing scenes. I had shot a scene where I talked to myself while picking up the bike. There's some funny lines that I have with somebody that, like with another character that's selling me this bike, supposedly. I was doing like that kind of editing, and then I was like, but how is this gonna fit in to the voiceover? So let me record. So I decided to like go and record a scratch audio take of the voiceover. I recommend video next to the video I was watching about how to fix my sore back. So I record the scratch voiceover, and first of all, I realized, oh, I don't really have a beginning. Oh, and these are ideas for how I should start it. Yeah, I have to write a whole new script because these ideas are better about how it should start. I don't really have a final script that I'm even going off of to get shots. I think I wanted the momentum of just start going to get shots, which was fine. Anyway, so whatever, I'm up at night like doing different takes of the voiceover, and then those are helping me kind of write the rest of the stuff, like the beginning more solidly and the end more solidly. I'm gonna keep this going because I think, let me try and find the ending. Are you lying about seeing a doctor? Can you get on your own cell phone plan? That's what I was doing. Getting older and aging out of the family plan. And then, I don't know, music? I just wish I could see the way my ass looks to other people. How are they perceiving my ass? Okay, yeah. I need to write a new script that includes the car wash, the roots, the how did it start. Yeah, okay. Let's just call it there. It'll end something like that. I spent last night not really editing, but like writing and recording kind of scratch voiceover. Once I had the voiceover like laid down on an actual track, saying in the cadence that I kind of pictured that it would be said at, I realized like there's so many gaps and just the sheer amount of shots based on how I picture it being cut. I haven't been shooting the way I need to be shooting in order to get all those shots. And even when I realized that last night, I think I got like 3 shots off. All it needs to be is in focus. Just the way that I'm thinking of it, it was always going to be quick cutting and not slow until the end when I break my back. So I need shots. I need like all kinds of shots. So this like listening to it and then picturing the images, I needed to hear it, not just like see it on the script. I needed to record it, a version of it. I'm gonna look at the scratch again, and I'm gonna be referring to the edit a lot more to hear what gaps there are, and then going to grab them, and then coming back, looking at the edit, grabbing them, you know, more like that. All the shots in my shot list from yesterday are still valid. I still need to get them, but I know now with more urgency that I need to take less time to get them, because there's no matter what amount that I shoot, I'm going to bring it all into this program. I'm going to start cutting it and realize, oh, I don't have enough. I don't have enough to cover this section because I go on about this for longer than I realized, and then I need to like go out and shoot again. So I'm going to be editing more every day to make sure like, am I getting too like fixated on this one part of it when I don't even have like the beginning section, or, you know. what if, and I don't want to cut out my favorite bits. It's just, I need to just like be going a lot. I need to be going pretty hard in order to get everything. There's just a few lines about me acquiring equipment. So there's not even lines, it's like phrases. And now I'm getting shots more on like a phrases basis. Like this phrase, I'm gonna cut probably. I'm not gonna stay on this. I need to be very connected to the track that I'm cutting to, the voiceover that I'm cutting to. And if I know I need a break in this voiceover because it's a lot, and that again, it goes back to my feeling that this, I don't know how good this is going to be, or if because I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure about it, and fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna continue and finish it, and try to finish it for this deadline too. I think that's still important because I don't think I should spend any more time on this than is 2 weeks. I think this short film should be made kind of quickly. Some of the energy in which I'm making this film is what the film is about. Let me just do this, let me just do this, let me just do this. And I feel like I should keep that energy and see what film comes out of it, because I think that might have an impact. Who said that? Like, the way you make a film makes its way into the film, or something like that. Truffaut really butchered a Truffaut quote. What's the actual quote? We'll put it up. I couldn't really find what I was talking about here, but I know I've come across it. Like, maybe it was just a critic who said that, or maybe it was Truffaut, or maybe it was Godard, actually. Like, and I was searching my notes, and I just fell down a hole looking at quotes and stuff from my notes from about process and stuff. I'm trying to finish this video, so if somebody knows what I'm referring to, maybe I know it exists. Okay, I found it, kind of. I was looking at this book for another video that I put out last week. Richard Brody talking about Breathless. Godard's notion of correspondence between the movie and life behind the camera is a stern aesthetic that unifies the film and the work that went into it, the film and its maker. I also just think it's a thing like that, a lot of people talk about. Yeah, the process impacting the thing itself. Again, I'm not even sure if the film is good or if this is something, I don't know, I just have to keep going. But you always have to push out all these like doubt, like this shit sucks, like stop working on it. Whatever. All right, congratulations. We made it out of that ramble. I cut like 30 minutes out of me talking. It should be illegal to hit record before I finished a cup of coffee. Fuck. Thank you for sitting through that. I have 9 days, by the way. Today is August 31st, and then some of those days I'm working the job that gives me money to live. I think it'll be okay. But whatever. Let's just fucking start. Practically what I'm doing is listening to the voiceover I recorded last night. Anything that I can get right now, I'm just getting, so that it's almost like chronological, me going through and nothing's missing. And then every time I'm like, I don't have anything for that, I control spacebar to create a new shot, and then I write down the shot that I need, and then if I can do it right then, I just do it. Just march our way towards the end, where at the end it does get easier, there are less shots, but okay. Not jumping ahead. And then as I get the shots, I'm going to put them in the edit. Yeah, that's how we're going to work. Later that day, I also recorded a new voiceover recording with an actual mic this time, instead of whispering into my phone. And I used the new script that I had come up with the night before. I have the script here, and I read it the first time, and I was really like, it wasn't good. Realizing I have to really get into it, riding the roller coaster of like jacking it up and then coming way down. But yeah, I won't record any more takes. I guess from here I'll just like spot clean up, and when I don't like something, I'll just re-record right there for that part. I ended up doing this a lot throughout. I would just like quickly re-record each line separately, because at each line, when I would start to record it, I would realize like how I actually wanted to say it. So it allowed me to really dial in the exact reading that I wanted for each line, instead of doing all one take or just letting one take roll. I've edited kind of the whole audio, actually listening to everything cut together with different ad libs I did to make it more natural. I already did some of that kind of editing, and now I feel like there's a section in here I could cut this whole thing kind of in half, even more. I'm seeing a flaw in my script, which is that I introduce the hip thrusts and then we kind of get away from that a bit. There's this bit about me basically just griping about exercise bikes. Why does the recumbent bike not feel at all like riding a bike, but actually feels like it? But then as I'm recording it and then listening back, I feel like I drop what I truly want, the character truly wants and realizes she wants, is an ass. And that's like where the climax goes. The bike stuff is a total like detour. Now, if I cut like this paragraph where I'm bitching about bikes and treadmills, bits that I first came up with when I like woke up and wrote this all down, you can see the kind of dreamlike logic almost of why they're in there. And sometimes you want to keep that because it's interesting. But man, this could be a really tight, short that is, and the focus is a girl becoming obsessed with getting her ass and then falling down a rabbit hole of research about it. I think the bike bit could be funny, but is it detracting from the rest of the film, which isn't really about that? And if the film is about like burning out, I should limit the bits just for bits' sake and just focus on the kind of hyper focus that the character gets into about ass and she has to do this and this kind of self-hatred loop that she's in. And then if I then cut out some stuff that I think might make it more clear what it's about, maybe then I can make the whole thing stronger because I'll have more time to edit what I have. The jokes about how I hate recumbent bikes and how I hate treadmills, it's really like a side thing. And I think having more time to focus on the editing and getting good shots for what I need to cover, that might make the film better than if I kept in bits that make it feel like a bigger scope thing. Because that was the other thing. It's like I had creative, imaginative ideas about like how to express that the recumbent bike sucks. Thinking it over now. But it really doesn't add to the main thing of the story. Like, it's just a funny bit, and I feel like it might lose people. I can just skip from, I have to do hip thrusts, I have to eat all this chicken, why aren't I getting an ass, I need to do more, this is my life's work now, and then I break my back. And anything that kind of detracts or takes away from that and side lateral moved from that kind of progression, it's like a great progression without the bike stuff. So I think I have to get rid of the bike stuff. Okay. So I'm going to duplicate what I have and then make a new timeline where I kind of get rid of everything that's not related to that. And that means I can get rid of a lot of shots in the shot list. I have a timeline here, voiceover selects. These are alternates. Time to cut. I'm kind of arranging clips. Is this working? Yeah, in my editing sessions, roughly like the order. But now I'm kind of starting from the beginning and going through and actually figuring out, okay, now there's a gap here after I say this. There's a gap. There should be a gap after I say this. Let's let this shot like marinate a little more. And maybe I've gotten rid of dialogue already where I'm like, this should be a pause and this is not adding anything and this joke isn't funny. And then I'm making more deliberate choices, such as like, we should see me looking at my ass early on to get this thing starting to grow, the understanding that that's what the character wants, is an ass. So I'm like more intentionally like dragging clips over and picking clips. Pretty long-winded way of saying I just started to edit the film and I started to figure out the rhythm of the film. You start acquiring gear and sometimes it ends there. The hobby is really shopping for something you don't usually shop for. So I started picking up equipment So that was kind of the change. I had another line about like, oh, grocery shopping isn't really risky. It's not fun. My worry with this whole thing is like the jokes are, this happens every time. The pacing, it's like the setup's too long here or something. I need to get to hip thrust sooner. I guess I get to it pretty fast. It's like there's not enough jokes. It's not funny enough. It's just like feels like it's too dry. I usually shop for. So I started picking up. I guess I could maybe throw in me playing myself in this little conversation here. I wonder if that would play. So that people need to know I'm joking, like, sooner. And you need to, like, make it very obvious. And I just feel like I haven't made it as obvious enough yet. Just to clarify, I had decided at this point that I wasn't going to actually use this scene. And that was me just deciding to try it again, because maybe it would actually work to solve the problem of it not being funny enough early enough, or even suggesting that it's supposed to be funny early enough. I just want to make sure you understand that this is trash. This is a garbage room where I keep all the garbage in my house. So I just want to make sure you understand that you're not going to use this is a garbage room where. And then cut right to me bringing it down the stairs. Yeah, maybe we try this just to tell people that this is a funny movie. Is that before it was here, it was in somebody else's. Yeah. No one has ever used this machine. Yeah, it's perfect. Weekend's been going pretty good. I'm editing, shooting. God, I look like fucking shit. There's still shots I need to definitely get. Actually, there's a lot of shots I need to get, but I feel like it's been helpful to actually edit and then see where the gaps are. It is still in that stage where I said it yesterday to a friend. It's like you're growing out your hair, and it's in the in-between stage where you feel like you can't go outside. You have to wear a hat or something. It's in this stage where it's just so terrible. Like, when I think about the edit, I just start to cringe. Like, it's so bad. And I'm trying not to think of it that way. It's just not done. It's just not even close to being where it needs to be. But instead of being like, it's bad, but like, it's just in that stage where it's a long way away. Some work on it yesterday made me feel a lot better, and now it feels a little closer. And then I feel again like, okay, maybe I have a film. Before I did the editing yesterday, I was like, this is just, it's in that cringe zone where I couldn't possibly show it to anyone, or else they would be like, yeah. Editing the feature film, I got used to that feeling because every time I would start editing a scene, it had that phase where I was like, God, this scene, should I just cut it? Like, I mean, some scenes I did cut, obviously, but you just gotta keep working on it, and keep like finessing it. And then it turns into something actually, oh, okay, it's getting closer. If you abandon something in that phase where it looks kind of bad or you're cringing, it's like, you have to see it through, I think. Just keep working on it, even though it sucks. That's what I'm doing. I need to like go get a softball uniform because I make this, not joke, but it's funny because I keep saying like, oh, it's a joke. And when I watch the movie, it's like, oh God, it's so serious again. I need to work in more jokes. This always kind of happens with me. Like funny, and then it's sad. So deadline September 10th. Oh God, it's the 3rd. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll finish it. I just don't want to rush it. And I don't want to make it bad because I'm just trying to make it. Vulnerability incoming. Vulnerable clip. I guess the other parts of this video are vulnerable too. But this is a part where I realize what the film is like about or something. And I go back and forth between making this for people to watch, where I want to take all the very vulnerable bits out, and then also just making it a real document of what happened. And I feel like this was an important part of the process to reach this point in the shooting of it and then have this kind of reflection on it. So I figure it's like 45 minutes into the video, so just like fuck it. Made it this far. when I watch it and I think about it playing for other people, it's literally like insane. Like I can't even imagine. But that's just because it's really bad right now. But also it's kind of like I'm realizing it's like any film. Well, I guess not any film. But like it does have a heaviness to it, because I think it's like kind of a heavy topic that I've been reflecting on, and now it's kind of making its way in, this kind of like negative talk that I have for myself. Obviously this is a fictional movie, but it's like, and I'm not obsessed with my ass, it's just a metaphor to talk about like this kind of toxic mindset I sometimes have and can fall into, which is that like being so mean to myself, essentially, and thinking that that's going to set me apart or something, or that that I need to do that, to be so ungracious with myself. And I've been thinking about that a lot. So, and I don't think I realized that this was kind of about that. You know, there were some funny lines I put in that I didn't even really think that much about. And now when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, it's kind of, I don't know, it's like, it is like everything I've made is very personal. You know, so it is very personal, and I think that's what's making it also hard to think about showing to other people, because I didn't really realize, I don't know, but I don't think that they would even see any of that. It's just like kind of embarrassing to be showing my ass so much. Anyway, that's why it's like important to make things, there is an importance to making things like right away and not waiting too long, because it will be like, it might be very close to something you're actually dealing with, instead of like kind of removed and reflecting. I think the feature I'm working on is more removed and reflecting, and this one is more like, I've really been thinking about this stuff recently, and I think if I made it a year from now, I would have forgotten like where this even came from. Both are valid, like to process things for a while so that you can do something, so you can have like more wisdom around it, I guess. And then this approach, which is more like, I'm making it like pretty close to the original like thoughts that I've been having that then spawned it. Whatever. I gotta start editing, I'm procrastinating.